Hello, freshmen, parents, and students, and welcome to College 101 by the College Counseling Department. I am Ms. Busto, and I am the Director of College Counseling here at Belen. And you will meet the rest of the College Counseling team during the course of this presentation as well. Before we get started, a little bit about me. I have been here 8 years, and prior to being at Belen, I worked in college admissions for the University of Miami for 6 years. And I even reviewed some of the applicants from Belen in my time there. Aside from working in college admissions, I just love college. After I graduated from the University of Miami, if you guys don't know, I'm a huge University of Miami fan, I made it a point to travel across the country to every single college football away game for the University of Miami for about 2 years. With that experience, I got to see a lot of different college campuses, which made me realize how much I truly love the college experience and the experience of being on a college campus. It also made me realize the wide variety of colleges that are out there for everyone, which is probably why I'm here in this role today. To start talking about college, I think the first thing that we need to do is understand the different roles that everyone plays in the process. I like to explain to families that in the college research and application process, we are like a team. The student is the player. Imagine a basketball game. And the student is the one who's taking the shots, who's dribbling the ball down the court, making the call when to pass, when to shoot. At the end of the day, that's the person who's going to make the game winner, take the free throw, all that stuff. So that's the person that's carrying out the action. I like to think of myself as the coach, and the college counselors serve as the coaches. We're the ones who are going to guide you along the way. We're going to write up plays. We're going to talk strategy. We're going to practice. And we will help get you ready for game time, which is the process of applying to college. And parents, I like to think that you play the role of the fans. You are the cheerleaders. You are the ones providing the moral support and taking them along the way to the process of getting to college. And together, as a team, we will achieve that goal. So, what are the different roles that each of you play in this process? There's a role for parents, and there's a role for students. So let's talk about parents first. And I know it sounds a little crazy to be talking about this now as 9th graders, but trust me, the time flies, and there's things that we can be doing now to prepare for the time that your son is a senior. So, what is the role of a parent? I like to think that the role of a parent in the college process is to empower, not to provide the answers. You are there to provide the support, to help the student along the way discover what it is that he wants to accomplish, what it is that he wants to do. Parents, I would encourage you to be very careful in not taking over and writing your son's story. These are his 4 years, and he is the one creating his story. Like I said, this is about providing support, providing the tools, but let the student be in the driver's seat of his 4 years. That is very important because at the end of the day, when he writes the applications and when he completes the applications, and for example, he's writing the essays, he's going to have to explain why different activities or accomplishments carry meaning for him. So it should come from him, and not from some to-do list that we have written out at home or in our minds of this is what my son has to do to apply to college. Students, what's your role? Your role is to take ownership of the next 4 years. And yes, like I said, it might sound a little crazy that we're talking about this. As a freshman, you might feel like you just started high school, but now's the time to think about what are the things that you like to do? What are the activities that you enjoy? What are the subjects that you are good at, that you enjoy being a part of? Being in that classroom, you're like, hey, I want to learn more about this, okay? Those are the kinds of things that you want to focus on over the next 4 years and really take control and figure out and navigate what are the things that you want to do, what are the things that you want to accomplish. So it's very important to know that while we are here to help you in this process, it is your process. And we want you to be the one that is in control. If there's anything that the year of the pandemic and the class of 2021 has shown us, is that there truly is no magical formula for applying to college, considering that everything that we knew went out the window with the pandemic. With that said, there are certain things that you can be taking care of in terms of grades, in terms of being active, that those are things that we want to explore with you today in this program. And the most important point that applies to both the role of a parent and a student is ask questions. Please, if you are unsure, if you don't know, use your college counselor. That's what we're here for, and ask questions. We are happy to get you the answers, to guide you along the way, so that when we get to senior year, you are ready to go. So let's get started. Freshman year does not really count. That is a myth. I know that if you talk to anyone, they will tell you junior year is the most important year for applying to college. While yes, that is true in the sense that junior year is the last year of grades that a college will see before they render a decision on you for admission, I like to think that the freshman year, or the year that you're currently in, carries just as much weight, if not more. Here's why. If you think about college admissions, you apply at the beginning of your senior year, meaning typically from August to October, okay? When you apply, what grades will they have at that point? Freshman year, sophomore year, junior year. So if you look at it from that perspective, freshman year makes up 1/3 of the academic information that colleges will use to render a decision on your application. So what does that mean? Freshman year serves as the foundation. If you view it from that perspective and you put your best foot forward now in freshman year, you are making your life a lot easier in 10th and 11th grade. Versus if you don't put your best foot forward this year and you don't try your hardest, then you are giving yourself more work to do in 10th and 11th grade to play catch up. It's a lot easier to start strong and maintain it or build upon it versus digging yourself into a hole and then having to work your way out. With that said, let's take a little moment to check in right now. Where are you in your freshman year? We're about halfway through, a little less. You're about to go into exams for some of your classes. So, where are you right now with freshman year? How is freshman year going? Are you happy with how freshman year is going? Are you saying, I'm putting in my best effort? If the answer is no, and you don't feel that you are putting in your best effort, then here's the time to check in with yourself and say, okay, let's put some more work in, let's turn this around, I have half the year left to go. And gentlemen, if you're struggling with freshman year, that's okay. Remember that you are transitioning to high school, and colleges are aware of that.
Hi, my name is Severin Chambers, and I am a member of the Belen Jesuit College Counseling Office, and I am here to speak to you about some of the fun facts that we encounter throughout our daily lives in the College Counseling Office. For a little background on myself, I'm originally from Boston, Massachusetts, attended Spring Hill College in Mobile, Alabama, the famous Jesuit school of the South, and I'm currently working on my master's at the University of Miami. Lower grades in an AP or honors course are far better than higher grades in a lower rigorous course. This is something that we encounter quite often, and there's no definitive answer, but let me guide you through the steps of how our thought process works and how it works out for students most of the time. First off, if you are achieving A's in hundreds all across the board in classes that are not deemed as rigorous, that tells us that you are not working as hard as you can be. And that also tells the colleges that you are not pushing yourself to your full potential, and that is a clear red flag for them, as when they go to challenge you, they do not know how you're going to be able to handle that. The same can also be said for those that choose to enroll themselves in all rigorous courses. You have to know what you're capable of handling, and then you have to be successful at it. Balance is going to be a key term for everybody throughout the next couple of years, as you need to be able to balance your workload and then also what you're able to do. During the next spring cycle we're going to ask you come speak to us about what you want to choose for course selection. You'd find it very interesting how much we have to say about what courses you should choose, what courses look good for the colleges that you're applying to, and then also what courses look good for your future career. Looking at a course load with all AP courses, we want to make sure that we achieve B's or higher. Anything less, and that tells us that you are not capable of doing that level of work. And so that also tells the college the same thing. So when it comes down to what you are trying to plan out for the next year and what you think that you are capable of, make sure that we find a perfect balance and a perfect fit. The other part of this myth that I like to look at is the balance of where scores align in your application. No, just because you achieved a 36 does not mean you're getting into every college in the country, as much as people may want to say that on Twitter. What is really going to be affecting your college application is your entire makeup of everything that you've done over the past 4 years. You have a certain percentage that counts for your GPA and your transcript, how rigorous your courses were. Yes, your test scores, have you taken up multiple times? What areas have you done extremely well in? But then you also have to remember, what have you done outside of school, such as community service, clubs, sports? All of those are going to move into a balancing act, and the slew of characteristics are going to make up what your actual academic profile and extracurricular profile and application are going to be at the end of the day.
My name is Zikas, and I'm one of the college counselors in the college counseling office. This is my second year at Belen, but my fourth year as a college counselor. Before I was a college counselor, I actually sat on the other side of the desk as an admissions representative at 3 different colleges and universities all over the country. But now, as a high school college counselor, this is truly what I wanted to be doing my whole entire life. It's what I enjoyed the most. And I look forward to helping you and your parents as we navigate this college process. And your senior year, when we, apply to all the different colleges and universities that you will be perhaps attending in 4 short years. If freshman year is a struggle, game over. This is false. I know that some of you might feel that you will be ending freshman year with not exactly the GPA you wanted or the grades that you wanted on your transcripts. However, I don't want you to be discouraged. This does not mean that in 4 years when we do the applications that you might not necessarily get into the schools that you are interested in attending. The colleges and universities know that the transition from middle school to high school is difficult. And what they look for is positive trends on your transcripts. So if you finished freshman year with not the grades that you were looking to have, you have sophomore year and junior year to improve on those grades. You also want to make sure that if you have the opportunity to take the honor classes or the AP classes or dual enrollment classes, that you take advantage of those opportunities. The colleges and universities will receive, when you apply, our school profile. And here at Belen, we're lucky enough where we're able to offer some pretty competitive classes. And so you want to be able to take advantage of that coursework that we have here at the high school.
Hi guys, my name is Mrs. Bonvecchio. I've been in education for the last 10 years, and I've been college counseling for the last 5 years. And I'm very happy to be here and to start working with you all this year. Community service is the most important activity on an application. This is a myth. Why is that a myth? This is not to say that community service is not an important part of your application, but it is not the most important part of any application that you fill out. The reason that community service is an important part of your application is if you are very vested in community service, if it's something that you're passionate about, then it is something that will become an important part of your application. But if it's not something that is very important to you or that you are not very passionate about, then any other activity that you are passionate about would be an important part of your application. There is no hierarchy as to what activity is more important than the next. So if something like athletics is something that's the most important thing to you, then that's going to be something that you would highlight on your application, not necessarily community service and any other number of activities that are out there. So you just have to find the things that you are passionate about, and that is what we like to use freshman year for. So freshman year, you're going to be hopefully joining different activities. I know this year is a little bit more challenging when it comes to that because of the whole pandemic situation, but you will find your groove and you'll have opportunities to find things that you're passionate about. And the point is that throughout high school, you delve deeper into those things that you find that you are very interested and passionate about. Now, if community service is one of those things that you are very passionate about and you decide that that's what you want to be one of the main things that you do through the next years in high school, I encourage you to reach out to Miss Claudia Basso. She's in charge of a program called Silver Night, which surrounds a community service project that a student comes up with, and she can give you a lot of information about that and hopefully put you on the right track to eventually, as a senior, becoming a Silver Night nominee.
Now for one of my favorite myths. My family went there. That means I'll get in there too. I don't know where to first break this down. Maybe let's look at the University of Florida. The University of Florida has over, say, 200,000 alumni, and for every 200,000 alumni, let's say each person has 2 people in their family that apply to the University of Florida. So that means every 2 years, 400,000 people are applying to the University of Florida and saying that their family is part of the alumni network and that they deserve a spot. Just by the sheer numbers, this should tell you that this myth is, well, a myth. Instead, what you have to remember is that we devise a balanced college application list to have a bunch of schools on there that are going to be challenging, and then also schools that we feel a little bit more comfortable with you attending and applying to. So no, at the end of the day, just because your uncle's hairdresser went to whatever school you wish to say, that does not mean that you are going to be automatically admitted.
Applying to the University of Florida is a lottery. This is completely false and something that I probably hear every single year, not only from students, but also from parents. The University of Florida is not a lottery. They're not sitting at the University of Florida admissions office picking names out of a hat. Lucky you, you get to go to UF in the fall or the summer. The University of Florida is a highly selective university, which means that when you apply to that school, you need to be able to submit to them the best application with good grades, rigor in your courses, an excellent college essay, as well as extracurricular activities, community service, and participation in honor societies. But it is not a lottery, it is a highly selective university.
So you want to attend a particular school. How do you get there? Here's the first you need to do. You need to show demonstrated interest. Just like if you're applying for a job, you need to make sure that you contact the company, you make sure that you send in the resume, you need to make sure that you interview. You can't just apply for the job and then hope you get it with absolutely no work. The same goes for colleges and how they view demonstrated interest. Demonstrated interest has been one of the more unique statistics that have come out about college admissions over the past few years. Ever since colleges have started tracking who follows them on Instagram, who visits campus, who answers their email, who opens their email, and even those that can see when you've interacted with one of their hyperlinks. Yes, these are all statistics that they can track and they put into the evaluation of your application. One high-ranking and low-admitting school last year told us that a certain student was not admitted due to the fact that they have never opened an email from them. Think about it. You want to go to a certain school and you have never opened an email from them, nor have you ever reached out just to tell them, hey, I want to go to school here.
As Mr. Chambers mentioned, demonstrated interest is one of the important components of the application process. And one of the ways that you can demonstrate interest to the different colleges and universities is by emailing the admissions reps from those schools. Now, during the time of COVID, It's actually very difficult for our seniors to go and visit the colleges and universities because the colleges and universities are closed. So they communicate a lot with the admissions reps through their email. Now, the first thing we want you to have is a professional email address. And here at Belen, we give you an email. And it is our suggestion that you use that email when you send emails to the different colleges and universities. I know that some of you might create different Gmail accounts, and that's perfectly fine. We just want to make sure that those Gmail accounts are professional. You know, use your first name, your last name, or your first initial, last name. That is all, nothing else. But, you know, take advantage of the Belen one because you have access to that. So when you send emails to the college reps, you don't want to say, hey, what's up? You want to talk to them as if they were right in front of you in a professional manner. When you start the college application process your senior year, you're going to be receiving a lot of emails from colleges and universities, and I know that it can get very overwhelming. You must answer or open the emails that are sent to you from the different colleges and universities that you are interested in going to. I know it sounds crazy, but a lot of these colleges and universities actually track the emails that they send you. And I'm going to give you an example. A few years ago, we had a decrease in the amount of students that were admitted to Florida State University. And when we reached out to Florida State University and asked them, you know, what happened this year as far as our applicants, one of the things that they told us was that they had sent out a Christmas email to the applicants from Belen, and a lot of the students did not open their email. And I know that it sounds crazy, but the schools will track the emails they send you, and they check to see if you've read them or if you've clicked on the links that are provided in those emails. So you definitely want to be opening the emails from the schools that you genuinely are interested in attending.
I want to address a topic that I feel is really important to discuss, even as a high school freshman. And parents and students, I think this is an important topic to discuss together as a family at home. And that is social media presence. The truth is that colleges have and will continue to deny admission or rescind admission from students if they are notified about inappropriate social media posts on any type of social media channel. So I take a moment to share a little story with you about how social media presence has hit home. Several years ago, I had a student who applied to Yale and was admitted, and we were very excited about him being admitted to Yale. In his process of being admitted to Yale and deciding where he was going to attend college, it came to light that someone, we don't know who, created a duplicate profile for him on Facebook, entered the Yale admissions page, and started writing or commenting or making disparaging comments about Yale on the Yale admissions page. As a result, Yale contacted me, and they asked me the question, hey, what's going on with this guy? We admitted him. We are super excited to welcome him into our class. Why is he doing this? Does he think he's being funny? And they told me we were going to have to take a look at what he was doing and if it was something that would affect his admissions. When we got down to the bottom of it, that's how we discovered that someone had created a duplicate profile, and it in fact was not him who was doing this. And it made for a very nerve-wracking time for the student. It was something that potentially affected his future. Gentlemen, there are examples, countless examples in the last couple years of items that students have posted jokingly, without thinking, and it's stuff that has come back to hurt them in their college admissions process. Either they end up not being admitted, or they were admitted, the college finds out, and then they rescind the student's admission. And the most important piece that I can stress with you here is one, when you post does not matter. The college will not care if it was something that you posted as a high school freshman when you were 14, 15 years old, and you can go back to the college and say, oh, you know, I've matured, I've learned. The colleges will not care. If it's out there for public consumption, it reflects who you are, and in turn reflects on them as an institution if they admit you to their institution. The other thing that I need to stress is that you are never truly anonymous. Your history follows you no matter where you go. Regardless of the social media channel, even when you hit delete, it's very easy for someone to screenshot it. And the reality is that when I worked in admissions, we had people who would contact us with screenshots of things that other students had shared or posted that were inappropriate. And while a college might not necessarily go looking for these types of things, when it's brought to their attention, they have to address it. So, I encourage you guys, as a family, have this discussion at home to be mindful of what you're posting and how you're posting. With that said, don't be afraid to interact on social media with colleges. Engagement is good when it's positive. And the reality is that with the pandemic, a lot of colleges have invested in more platforms, online and virtual, for students to interact with them. Colleges want you to interact with them and do so in a way that is positive and sheds positive light on you as a student and who you are as a person. So, if you happen to follow an Instagram page, for example, for a college of interest to you, as Mr. Chambers mentioned, they do track that. They do track how you interact with them. So I'm not saying don't engage. You can engage, just make sure you're engaging in a positive way.
Using your resources. So one of the ways that you can learn more about the college counseling process and just college application process in general is simply by going to your My Belen website and clicking on your counselor's page. So each of you are assigned a counselor already. You can click into their page and you can see information in there. You can go to the topics section and the topic tiles. The one that you would mostly be using right now is a topic tile called college admissions. In there you will see a college admissions checklist which breaks down by grade level, so 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, the things that you should be doing within each of those grades. This is a useful page that is in there so that you can kind of stay on track with what you should be doing through the next few years on your own. And obviously you reach out to us for any help that you need, but it's a little checklist to kind of guide yourself and know for sure that you're doing the things that you should be doing. Other resources that you are using are, of course, your college counselor. You can ask your college counselor any question that you have throughout the years here at Belen. The other thing that you will be receiving are monthly newsletters that your counselor sends out. And this will have a lot of information on there for you to know what is going on in the college counseling world. It might not necessarily apply to you right now, but it's a good thing to get used to looking through these newsletters and seeing what's available to you and what will be available to you eventually as you go through the years here at Belen. Usually we also have college tours and college rep visits. You will be participating in these rep visits your junior and senior year. College tours start from sophomore year. This year, unfortunately, we haven't been able to do any because of what's going on, but we have high hopes that we'll be able to start those up again next year when you guys are sophomores. The last resource, or one of the other resources that is available to you guys, is called Naviance. It is a portal through which the student and parents can go in and do research into colleges and careers that are out there. We will be doing a guide through Naviance later on, but just a little bit of information on Naviance right now. If you want to get access to Naviance, you need to email your counselor for your registration code So the student will have a registration code and each parent will have a registration code as well. So you all each have your own account to go in there and look through it. But some of the things that are available are doing research within specific colleges. You can see more or less where you need to be by the time that you're applying to college, GPA-wise, testing-wise, ACT, SAT, and also a lot of information about the college itself is in there. Once you come across a college that you're interested in, you can click on the little heart to like it, and it will fall under the colleges you're interested in section. One of our favorite things within Naviance in the colleges section is when you go into an actual college, if you click on where it says admissions, it will take you to their admissions information section. If you scroll down, there's a scattergram in there that shows you check marks for students that have been accepted, X's for students that have been denied, and you can kind of see where those students fall. If you hover over the check marks, it tells you the GPA and the score that that student received, and whether, obviously, if it's a check mark, he was accepted. If it's an X, the student was denied to the school. So you can see more or less where that cluster of acceptances are and what your goal should be for that specific college when the time comes to apply at the beginning of your senior year. And now we're going to hear some words of advice from a current senior. He'll talk a little bit about his application process and the journey, and hopefully you guys take his advice seriously because he's going through it right now, where you guys will be in a few years. Thank you.
Hello to the class of 2024. My name is Nicholas Choquette, currently a senior, and this is my 5th year at Belen. I'm here today to talk to you guys about some of the attributes that have made me the best student I can possibly be today. I'm going to be covering 3 things that have really helped me through my entire high school career and have prepared me for the college admissions process. First, be organized. Guys, I cannot stress enough that freshman year counts. The grades that you get freshman year will be reflected on your college admissions process. So take into consideration the organization skills that you will need through your entire high school career. For example, some of the things that have helped me up to this point have been writing down all of my homework assignments in the Notes app and keeping a track of all club activities and different types of assignments that teachers assign. Secondly, I love the app Notability, and I'm sure all of you are very familiar on how to use it, but I would like to share a few things that could probably help you. For example, organizing all of your assignments in the respected folder in order to grab those assignments quickly and easily when the teacher requests them. This has helped me out tremendously when my college counselor asked for different types of documents for schools I've applied to. Moving on towards communication. Communication is extremely vital in order to succeed in your high school career. For example, communicating with your teachers during class in order to discuss topics that might not have been too clear for you during class. Another great example would be to write emails. This is a great opportunity to understand further topics that are probably not answered during class. Lastly, I would like to talk about college counselors and school counselors. The better relationship that you guys develop with these counselors early on in high school can help you better later in your high school career. This is beneficial, especially when you're a senior, because you're going to be using your college counselors a ton, and you're going to be relying on them for different types of submissions of recommendation letters and transcripts. Lastly, I just want to mention get involved. Belen has a plethora of different clubs and activities that you guys can get involved with. For example, if you love community service, the Key Club is a great example of serving our community. And if you're an animal lover, the Bar Club is also a great opportunity in order to endeavor in animal conservation. Lastly, I strongly suggest that you guys try out for that sports team, hang out with your friends, and make the best memories you can possibly in high school, because ultimately it flies by pretty fast. Now, on behalf of me and the rest of the class of 2021, we would like to wish you all the best of luck after we graduate. And as a reminder, stay golden, Wolverines.